When wolves refuse to flee, what deadly secret are they guarding? A train driver's split-second decision uncovers a chilling truth. The driver suddenly spotted several wolves standing on the tracks ahead of his moving train. Defying all logic, even after he blasted the horn repeatedly, the predators didn't flee. Instinctively, he slammed the emergency brakes. When the train finally halted and the wolves parted, he froze in horror at what they'd been desperately protecting. Sweden's harsh Norrland had always been sparsely populated. At its heart lay the isolated village of Älvdalen, surrounded by endless pine forests and snow-capped mountains. The railway, a steel river cutting through the wilderness, was its lifeline to the outside world. Erik grew up in a family of railroad men. His father Nils and grandfather Gustav taught him not just technical skills, but an almost mystical connection to the land, reading the forest's whispers, sensing its shifting moods. As a boy, he'd press his face against train windows, mesmerized by the Arctic glow, wolves gliding between trees, and moose silhouetted against the horizon. Though Stockholm's dazzle briefly lured him away, his soul yearned for the crystal air and star-drenched skies of home. After graduating top of his class, he returned to work at the same station under his father's old friend. Starting with simple tasks, his sharp intuition soon earned him promotions. First as a passenger train assistant, then as the lone driver of freight trains, those steel giants carving through the north. Erik loved his job. Each journey revealed nature's shifting beauty, especially in winter, when frost transformed the forests into something magical. But one routine trip would shatter his understanding of the wild forever. Halfway through a cargo run, Erik sipped coffee in the warm cabin, eyes locked on the tracks ahead. Then, a dark smudge in the distance. His pulse spiked. Obstacles meant danger, but this was no fallen tree. As the train closed in, the shapes resolved into a pack of wolves, standing firm on the rails. Impossible. In all his years, wildlife always fled. He blasted the horn, once, twice, but the pack held their ground, a living barricade. Protocol demanded he proceed, trusting they'd scatter. Yet their defiance screamed something deeper. With seconds to decide, Erik wrenched the emergency brake. Metal shrieked, sparks flying as the train skidded. He braced for impact, then silence. The train stopped inches from the pack. But what they'd been shielding, that horror awaited beyond the tracks. When wolves stand their ground against a roaring train, the truth they guard will rewrite everything we know about the wild and humanity. The sight left him frozen in disbelief. The wolves stood clustered in a tight formation, heads tilted back in eerie, mournful howls. They made no move to attack or flee, only to guard. As the train's threat faded, they parted slowly like soldiers dismissed from duty. Then Erik saw him. A man, crumpled on the tracks. An old man, weakly struggling against something holding him down. Erik's breath caught. This wasn't just any man. Olaf Bergman. The legendary gamekeeper, a fixture of these woods. The man who'd spent a lifetime protecting the forest creatures. Now shackled to the rails, wrists bloodied from struggle, legs bound with coarse rope. Olaf, what happened? Who did this? Erik shouted, clawing at the restraints. Olaf's voice was a dry rasp. Poachers? They left me for dead. But the wolves, they knew. The story spilled out between labored breaths. Vengeful hunters, sick of Olaf dismantling their traps, ambushed him. Beat him unconscious. Chained him to the tracks as a sick joke. Let your precious wolves finish the job. But the pack did the unthinkable. They emerged silently from the pines. Not to attack but to circle him. To howl. To make themselves seen. They sacrificed themselves to save him. Wolves, creatures of instinct, chose loyalty over survival. Olaf had saved their pups, healed their wounds. They remembered. Poachers arrested. Olaf recovered, but the forest remembered too. Now, every time Erik's train passes that stretch of track, he slows. Looks. Sometimes, just for a second, amber eyes gleam back from the tree lean. And with 3 soft horn blasts, "Thank you," he whispers to the ghosts of the pack who rewrote the laws of nature that day.